stop trying to be liked. Because the very thing you've been crying about was never a mistake. It was a design. God says, you were never meant to be accepted by everyone. And the sooner you understand this, the sooner your life will change. Let me ask you something honestly. Why does it bother you so much when certain people don't understand you? Why do you replay conversations in your mind? Why do you feel the need to explain yourself over and over? Why do you shrink just a little bit to fit into rooms that feel tight? Because somewhere deep inside, you still hope universal acceptance equals safety. But here is the truth. Acceptance from everyone was never your assignment. Separation was. You were not created to blend in. You were created to stand out. And standing out always comes with resistance. When your spirit carries clarity, confused people feel exposed. When you carry discipline, undisciplined people feel judged. When you carry peace, chaotic people feel uncomfortable. So they label you. Too much. Too quiet. Too intense. Too distant. Too different. But what they call too much is often divine distinction. Listen carefully. The reason you've struggled socially at times, the reason you felt like the odd one in the group, the reason you've been misunderstood in rooms where others easily connect, is because your frequency was never designed for mass approval. It was designed for divine alignment. Not everyone can handle purpose. Not everyone can recognize depth. Not everyone is comfortable around someone who refuses to compromise their standards. And you stopped compromising. That's when acceptance shifted. That's when energy changed. That's when invitations became fewer. That's when conversations became shallow. That's when you felt alone in rooms full of people. But isolation is not rejection. It's redirection. God removes mass approval before he increases assignment. Because if everyone liked you, you would never leave. If everyone accepted you, you would never outgrow them. If everyone applauded you, you would never evolve. Rejection is often divine strategy. Let's go deeper. You noticed something, didn't you? The more you healed, the fewer people understood you. The more boundaries you set, the more uncomfortable others became. The more disciplined you became, the more distant certain connections felt. Growth separates. Elevation isolates. Purpose filters. You weren't losing people. You were losing alignment. And there's a difference. You were never meant to be relatable to everyone. You were meant to be recognizable to the right ones. Mass appeal weakens impact. Selective connection strengthens it. And here's something powerful. When you try to be accepted by everyone, you dilute your identity. You soften your opinions. You mute your truth. You adjust your standards. You laugh at things that don't align. You tolerate things that drain you. You perform. But performance is exhausting. And you've been tired. Because you were never designed to perform. You were designed to lead. Let me say something bold. Some people don't dislike you. They dislike the mirror you hold up without trying. Your discipline exposes their inconsistency. Your clarity exposes their confusion. Your peace exposes their chaos. Your ambition exposes their comfort zone. So instead of rising, they resist you. And you internalized it. You thought maybe you were too serious, too driven, too spiritual, too reserved, too intense. But God says, you are not too much. You are simply not for everyone. If this resonates already, pause for a second and type in the comments, I accept who I am. Not for validation, but as a declaration. Because identity clarity changes everything. Now listen carefully. Being universally accepted feels safe. But it is dangerous for someone with purpose. Because purpose requires conviction. Conviction attracts opposition. Opposition reveals strength. Strength builds leadership. Look at every person in history who carried purpose. They were misunderstood, questioned, criticized, isolated, but rarely ignored. Because when you carry weight, people feel it, even if they don't understand it. The problem is not that people reject you. The problem is that you expect comfort from people who were assigned to challenge you. Some connections were lessons, not lifelines. Some groups were seasons, not destiny. Some conversations were confirmation that you have outgrown the room. You kept asking, why don't I fit in? Because you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to shift the environment. And shifting environments causes friction. Let's talk about loneliness. Purpose loneliness feels different. It's not that you don't have people around you. It's that you don't feel understood. And that hurts. Especially when you are the one who understands everyone else. But here's the shift. You are entering a season where alignment replaces approval. Where depth replaces numbers. Where quality replaces quantity. You don't need 100 people who like you. You need 3 who align with you. You don't need rooms that clap for you. You need environments that sharpen you. You don't need surface-level acceptance. You need destiny-level connection. And here is the prophetic part. The same difference that made you feel excluded will become the reason you are elevated. The same standards that made you too much will attract the right partnerships. The same discipline that made you boring will create stability others admire later. The same boundaries that reduced your circle will protect your future. God says, I did not design you for popularity. I designed you for impact. Popularity fades. Impact multiplies. There is a shift happening right now. You are becoming less emotionally dependent on approval, less triggered by misunderstanding, less desperate to explain yourself, more grounded, more centered, more secure. That is maturity. And maturity changes your circle automatically. Because secure people do not beg for acceptance. They attract resonance. If you've been feeling recently like you don't belong where you used to, conversations feel surface level. You crave deeper alignment. You feel called to something bigger. That is not ego. That is evolution. You were never meant to be universally understood. You were meant to be specifically assigned. And assignments are selective. Here's something important. When you stop trying to be accepted by everyone, you become magnetic. Because authenticity carries power. Confidence carries weight. Clarity carries authority. And people may still misunderstand you. But you won't shrink anymore. You won't over-explain. You won't overcompensate. You won't dilute your presence. Because now you understand. Rejection was protection. Distance was development. Isolation was preparation. Before this message ends, let me say something strong. If everyone approves of you, you are probably not growing. If everyone agrees with you, you are probably not leading. If everyone is comfortable around you, you are probably not challenging anything. And you were born to challenge comfort. Now I want you to do something powerful. If this message hit deeply, comment below. I was never meant for everyone. Say it with confidence. Because the moment you accept that, you stop chasing rooms and start attracting destiny. And if you are serious about stepping fully into who you are, subscribe. Not for numbers, but because the next messages will speak directly to those who refuse to shrink anymore. This channel is not for everyone. And that's intentional. It's for those who are ready to grow. God says, stop apologizing for your depth. Stop shrinking your light. Stop adjusting your standards. Stop explaining your calling. You were never meant to be accepted by everyone. You were meant to be aligned with the right ones. And alignment is far more powerful than approval. Stay bold. Stay clear. Stay different. Because different was always the design.